What's going on, gang? We're going to talk about a creative strategy that is going to help your agency get results. I'm seeing a lot of creatives of marketing agencies, and they're putting out content that I don't really think is as impactful as agency owners want it to be. And I want to give you some insight into what we're teaching our community so that you can make creatives in your ads or your organic content compelling. You can make your audience take action. So I want to talk to you today about 4 content pillars that you need to have, and just consider whenever you are shooting content to make sure they are including these 4 content pillars so they really pack a punch, they really land well with your audience, and you get the kind of result that you want out of your creatives, which is people to really take action or believe in you and follow what you're saying a little bit better. So I'm going to talk to you about this page. I'm going to talk to you about 4 content pillars. So number 1, the very first content pillar that we're going to talk about is your system. So a lot of marketing agencies don't have a developed system. A lot of you guys are going out to the market and you're selling meta services, creative services, SEO, we do CRO, we do this, we do that. Dude, no one wants to hear about your marketing services that you offer. It sounds like something that you're ready to charge somebody. And it also sounds like the same service that they got burnt by the last agency with. So you don't want to talk about meta and SEO. You want to talk about your profit growth system. And you want to be as clear as day as to the benefits, the main 3 pillars that delivers that profit growth system, what they do, how we focus on metrics, we focus on MER, we focus on this, we focus on acquisition of new customers, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you're communicating very, very, very clearly, the system, the name, and the cool core benefits that applies to the prospects. Not meta, not SEO. People don't really give a shit about that stuff. What's really, really important is that a part of your system, you really need to make sure that it's repeatable, man. If you're constantly doing different things, this is why I'm so huge on niching. If you're constantly doing different things for different services for different types of markets, your business isn't repeatable, and business really needs to be repeatable, especially as you start scaling it. So you want to make sure that you're delivering the same system that gets a certain market or a niche or industry a particular outcome. And you want to do that every single day of every single month. And you want to train your team up on it so that they can deliver the same service, the same system, that same outcome at a larger scale, greater than what you can do by yourself. So your system needs to be repeatable. Again, we don't want it to be random. We want to avoid random kind of offerings that you do. So what is the system? What are the 3 content pillars or core pillars that you want to communicate about X system? If my system is the lead growth system, we might have the new client acquisition pillar. We focus on using, tools, paid media tools to bring new starving customers and turn them into loyal paying clients every single month. So maybe it's your new client acquisition system. We focus on, let's just say, maybe data. So data is another really good one. We ensure that as you're spending money, you're making sure you're getting a profitable return, but you understand what your business's ROI is against your total marketing costs, including things like our retainer. So we're really clear and really huge on making sure that you've got profitable data that you're operating off of, or clear data that you're operating off of. And then maybe your 3rd pillar could actually just be profit. So we're huge on making sure that, okay, you're acquiring people, your leads at a profitable rate, you're closing clients at a profitable rate on a cash collected basis, but then you're also on an accruals basis, making sense of the money as well. So those are the 3 core pillars that we focus on. And we really just, when we're making content, we're communicating the system name. We're constantly, I have a big saying, which is, inside of your content, teach few lessons, but teach them very often. And that way, when somebody does follow you, they're able to really understand and interpret what it is that your agency does for a particular type of niche. And they even have a name and language around it because they've been watching all of your content, they've binged all of your content, and by this point, by the time they get onto a call with you, by the time they want to speak to you, your agency, about their services or what you can do for their business, they already fundamentally understand what you offer, and it makes it a lot easier. So they're going to talk to you about this system. They're going to appreciate the fact that you focus on only these 3 core things, which is acquiring new customers, making sure that you understand your data based on your spend, and ensuring that data equates to profit. Those are the 3 core pillars that we really focus on a part of our system. Now, look, I'm going top level with this. We have a whole other training about developing your system and then your offer later on, but I'll kind of keep it short. You want to make sure that all your content is including your system. Okay, cool. So what's the next thing? Well, the next pillar, and this one's so important in my opinion, which is your beliefs. As an agency, I'm a big believer in getting your ass in front of the camera and talking as the founder. And I think that founder-led content is so immensely helpful to you as a business owner, because at the end of the day, people sell people. Everybody's selling the same thing. Really, we're all just selling the same thing. But if you get your butt in front of the camera, you have something that nobody else has, which is you. And you might have certain beliefs. So some things that I challenge you to think about is, well, number one, what do you stand for in your agency? And what do you stand against? What are some of the things that are going on in your market that you really just don't try to apply for or believe in, and you want to make it super clear. So some examples of this is you could say, we're all about profit over revenue. That's one of our core beliefs. Another one is we're all about impact first instead of income. And you might also have another one, which is reps get results. You see so many people coming out now and they're just sorry, big head's in the way. So many people coming out now and they're paid media is dead. If you're not focusing on creatives, then anybody that's just managing paid ads for your e-commerce business or your lead gen business, they're not actually getting you any kind of return or making a significant difference or a significant impact or change to your account to drive a difference in results. So, what do you stand for? What's the market adjusted and changed to? And what are some of the things that you really want to drive message-wise into your audience to say that if you're still doing this thing, it's costing you more money than you realize, and you need to be applying this thing. And that could be a big belief that you might have in the market because it's slightly shifted. So driving those points home and making yourself kind of that core component to delivering that belief, because when it comes from an individual, it's really impactful. And when you sit there, I'll sit here all day long and I'll say, dude, if you're not pushing out enough creatives and really dialing in your creative strategy with all of these huge shifts on platform that's consolidated everything that you're doing and really just requires you to deliver as much creative as you can on platforms like Meta, then you're not going to get anywhere near the results that you used to get or aren't even going to compete with your competition. So, what are your beliefs? What are some of the things that you stand for? And what are also the things that you stand against within your market? And, go against the grain slightly as well. Okay, cool. So that's your beliefs. To summarize, guys, what are we really just talking about these 2 content pillars so far? When you're making organic content, when you're making paid ads content, talk about your system. What is it? Get super clear on that. Is it repeatable? Is it something that you can constantly talk about? Or is it something that's just random? Because if you don't even have a repeatable system internally, how do you expect to get client results on a repeatable basis? The second thing, what are your friggin' beliefs? What do you believe in? What do you stand for inside of the market that you serve? And what do you stand against? Get clear on that. What are your core messages? What are the things that you're huge on? Make it abundantly clear to yourself and then drive it into your content every single day. All right, let's keep going. What's the third content pillar? Third one is proof. What's really important in today's, age is you got to be credible. Are you credible? Do you have proof? If you're somebody watching this video right now and you don't feel like you have proof, that's so fine. But I talk to guys that we have a different group and it's for people that make below 20K a month. And the most common thing that people have in the first 30 days before we're able to do some paradigm shifts and get them clear on what they need to be working on first before they look to really grow, is that there's no shortcut to proof. There's no shortcut to scaling your agency to 10, 20, 30K a month, no matter what anybody says to you, like, think about it really. Is anybody going to put you on a 2.5K to 4K retainer? Like, for the large majority of people, is anybody going to pay you that and you've got nothing to back up them paying you? Like, no proof. You've never done it for anybody before. You're just getting started. Like, you don't have any like credibility about these services. You're going to find it really hard to scale your agency because no one's going to trust you. No one's going to take you seriously. And it's way more important to have two pennies to rub against your name, and then try to scale. Because if you don't have any proof, man, you just got a massive amount of distrust. And if you got distrust, it's growing your business is kind of like trying to drag a dead horse up a hill. Whereas when you have proof, you've got, a bunch of video testimonies that you can leverage, let's just say. It's like walking a beautiful stallion down a hill. It's much easier. So you want that. I'm telling you, take my word on it. The more proof that you have, the easier you'll find it to grow your business. Because that's the first thing anybody looks for. Cool. So what are some ways that you can generate proof? Some simple ways. Go get some case studies. That's you sitting in front of the camera, talking about some of the results that you might have gotten for a client. Just be ambiguous about the names, if in case they didn't want to talk about their numbers. You can just say we got this fashion label from 2 million to 6 million in about 12 months and annual revenue. You can talk about testimonials. So I'm a big believer in video testimonials from your clients. Is like gold, and it's something that you should always be seeking from your clients, and you should always be trying to gather as much as you possibly can. And you can even do things like screenshots. We did this big thing recently inside of my agency. I don't own it anymore, but Dunk, they did a big community event. We do a lot of community events inside of TAM, but for agencies, I think it's really important because you can get all of your clients in a room and you can create another aspect and I think conversation about the impact that your agency's made on their businesses, and your clients can talk about that. And I think that's incredibly powerful too. And then you can use that and leverage that as more proof on your socials. So, people just want to know, like, they kind of follow suit. So if that guy's working with you, then I guess maybe I can work with you, because if, he trusts you, then I could trust you. If you don't have that kind of feel or that look, then, people, once again, there's more resistance. You just want to create as less resistance as possible to somebody taking action with you. So screenshots or community events are really, really great. Okay, so we've got a system. We're talking about our system in our ads. We're talking about our beliefs. Our beliefs can be strong hooks. If you're still focusing on revenue as a goal for your e-commerce business, you're going to be dead in the water in 6 months' time. So that's your belief as your hook. Your system is like, here at Dunk Agency, we follow a triple-double strategy that focuses on 1, 2, 3 things. We've been able to get 1, 2, 3 clients, 1, 2, 3 results. And, here's the CTA. So you can kind of see how, like, you can really just shift any of these pillars into any structure or script or section. Like, you can kind of format however you want. But yeah, I think it's really important that you got all these consistent, because without these core pillars, your content doesn't really land. It doesn't really have that punch in the face that you want your prospects to feel, and then go, oh my goodness, I got hit in the face with amazing bits of content. I'm gonna freaking take action. That's awesome. Okay, what's the last one? It is fears and aspirations. So let me explain this. What's really important is that your prospects feel seen and heard. When you're, once again, niched, you can really talk about the intricacies of that market. A lot of beauty clinics have compliance issues with their paid ads. So when you're making content around that market, you can really dig into that. E-commerce is huge in regards to profit, daily profit, tracking cash. That's a big thing instead of revenue. Any lead gen agency, everybody knows it's like leads don't count for shit if they're not booking in, and book calls don't count for shit if they're not turning into clients. So having people, making a message that makes your audience think this guy's been around, this guy kind of understands, or not kind of, 100% knows that leads don't really mean anything unless they actually amount to somebody, taking action. Then, they will believe you more, in terms of, this guy actually kind of understands fundamentally what's going on inside of this market. I really love some of the messages, and he's really speaking towards some of the frustrations and fears that I've had recently with the last agency that I worked with, or managing a lot of the results internally. Like, we work with a bunch of dental practices, and we find that any of them that try to manage this marketing stuff in-house, they do a good job at the beginning, but then they just find that they can't do the creative work. They can't get the email stuff. They find that there's so many leads that they're generating, but they're slipping through the cracks, and they're not making the most and leaving a lot of money on the table. That's where we kind of come in for those dental practices that are doing above X revenue per month, and they really want to be able to ramp up their marketing efforts. So we want to make sure that your prospects feel seen and heard. We don't want to be general. Is your business not growing? No, man. Like, everybody's business isn't growing. Like, a lot of people, probably 90% of the businesses that are out there are probably not even turning a profit. So, a lot of people are in pain, and that's why, the more general you are, the less impactful it is. But you want to make sure, on top of that, fears. People really take action on fears more so than they do aspirations. So, like, if did you want to grow your business, or it's like, has your business stayed stagnant for the last 3 months? Because frustrations now with their business, not getting leads, not growing, no profit, they lead to fears later, which is redundancies, voluntary administration, having to, take their wage out of the business, whatever the later on fear is, or winding up the business. Aspirations of the future, but they're wants now. You want to speak to their wants now, but then their aspirations later. But that stuff is great to paint the picture as to what your system drives, maybe as an outcome. But hooks are really, really good to be using fears, because you want to write, you really want to speak to what people want to move away from. Because when you speak to those pain points, and especially, like, another fear is a fear of missing out. So FOMO, people get huge FOMO when they're not applying the latest strategies. It's like, your competition right now, like, is other clients that work within our agency, and we produce 10 times the amount of creatives than you do, which means that we eat up your local competition faster online and get your customers coming into our restaurant. They're like, oh shit, that we definitely don't produce enough content for us to even compete with some of our competitors. If they're working with this agency, then I want to know what they're doing. So fear of missing out is a big one as well. So what do people want to move away from? What do then people want to move toward? Simpler, more streamlined, less complex, strategy system to drive, bookings into their business, to drive profit into their business, whatever that might be. And the final thing is triggers, man. I used to love finding ways to really get under people's skin. So how can you get under people's skin with your marketing? How do you make something that makes your market, they get, oh my goodness, I can't believe you just said that, because that's the one thing no one's allowed to say to me in the office because I hate it. It must not be named type of thing. What is that? Like, what are the things that get your audience just freaking, like boiling because they've been dealing with this? And try not to always make it about another agency, because that just sounds like you've got a personal feud about another agency. Like, try and make it about them, because then that's, a little bit more applicable. And triggers, finding those triggers is immensely helpful to just, I guess, relating to your audience and then making them take action as well. Cool. So, I mean, this is like one slide of so many in terms of like the 30-day content cycle and then scripting out these ads and everything else. But I kind of just wanted to explain this one concept to you, because it kind of helps with any agency right now just making content. Just try your best to include each of these 4 content pillars inside of your scripts for paid ads and organic, because when you do, it's much more impactful content. And I think that it has fundamental must-haves that makes your creatives convert a little bit better. And that's basically it. If you're an agency and you want to talk to me for 15 minutes, there's a link down below and we can talk about your agency and see if we can help you out. But if not, then I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to be posting these every Wednesday. I've got a team now kicking me up the butt to do it. So I'm going to be posting these every single Wednesday. And that's basically it. Leave a comment if you have any questions or if you liked today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.